to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to Rugby League news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in Rugby Union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18. The Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number 1 Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her 3rd major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to Rugby League news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in Rugby Union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the 2 teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those 2 rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the 2 teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number 1 Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her 3rd major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull the goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number 1 Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her 3rd major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18. The Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number 1 Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her 3rd major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to Rugby League news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in Rugby Union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0. And Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to Rugby League news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in Rugby Union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18. The Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number 1 Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her 3rd major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0, and Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots. That's all for now. We'll have more later. These are your latest sports news headlines. I'm Alex Jack. We start with the football headlines on this Monday morning, and Tottenham Hotspur have given their hopes of Premier League survival a significant boost after a 2-1 victory at Aston Villa on Sunday night. Spurs pushed into a 2-0 lead at the break thanks to goals from Conor Gallagher and Richarlison. Aston Villa did pull a goal back late on thanks to a late header from Emi Buendia. But Spurs holding on for all 3 points against a Villa side. Much changed by boss Unai Emery, with Villa obviously looking ahead to their Europa League semi-final against Nottingham Forest this week. Well, where does that leave the table? Tottenham now out of the relegation zone on 37 points. West Ham on 36 points. So just a point between the two teams. Nottingham Forest are in action tonight. That's when they take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The other game taking place on Monday night sees Everton host Manchester City. The other games that took place in the Premier League on Sunday, it finished Bournemouth 3, Crystal Palace 0. And Manchester United 3, Liverpool 2. Another high-scoring clash between those two rivals at Old Trafford. Kobe Mainoo bagging the winner in the 77th minute after Liverpool fought back from 2 goals down to make it all square at Old Trafford. Mainoo striking to be the hero on the day for the Red Devils. Well, there's one game taking place in the Scottish Premiership tonight. A massive clash at the top of the table as frontrunners Hearts take on Rangers. Celtic did the business on Sunday thanks to a 2-1 victory against Hibernian. So Hearts leading, but only by goal difference ahead of that clash against third place Rangers at Tynecastle. Moving on to rugby league news now, and Toulouse managed to cause an upset in East Yorkshire thanks to a 12-4 victory against Hull FC. Meanwhile, in rugby union, there was European action on Sunday. Bath are out of the European Rugby Champions Cup after a 38-26 defeat at Bordeaux. Meanwhile, in the European Challenge Cup, it finished Montpellier 18, the Dragons 12. Moving on finally to golf news, and world number one Nelly Korda went 69 holes without a single bogey as she cruised to a 4-shot victory in the Riviera Maya Open in Mexico, a week after Korda won her third major with a 5-shot victory at the Chevron Championship. She was just as dominant in this tournament and managed to secure the victory by 4 shots.
Get into the Champions League, so it's still mathematically possible. What a division and what a season!
Yeah, it's been a great season, hasn't it? What a division, as John says, it's been so close, and that's what we want. We want it where it's going down to the wire for multiple things, not just a title race, not just Europe, but a little bit of everything. Your relegation battle's been so fascinating this season. That's going to go down to the wire, I think, between West Ham and Spurs, definitely.
Yeah, and we hate beachy games, don't we, at the back end? We want something to happen. We want excitement. We want, you know, I know that sort of European football or Champions League, there's that many spaces for English teams. It's a bit watered down. But listen, if your team's in it, you don't care about that. Yeah. You want to be pitting yourself against all the better teams and going on those journeys that like the Nottingham Forest fans have been on. Chelsea know all about it, don't they? But they're usually in and amongst it. An FA Cup win, and they'll be fine as well with all that. But anyway, here they are.
And here's Derry on the left-hand side. We've not even spoke about young Jesse Derry, but there's a ball in towards the back post, and Cole Palmer can't get on the end of it. Well, we've not really touched too much on Chelsea because of how brilliant Nottingham Forest have been. It's a first Premier League debut, Premier League start for Jesse Derry. He's featured a couple times off the bench in the FA Cup this season, was brought in from Crystal Palace last summer. Very highly rated young left winger, but that ball in from Enzo Fernandez. You can see Chelsea just starting to look a bit better since he's returned into the team. I thought he was their best player last weekend in the FA Cup semi-final. Scored the all-important goal as well, but it's the first time Chelsea have come forward 7 minutes in.
Yeah, it was a decent ball. So Jesse Derry, his dad Sean Derry played for Leeds, hence why he was born in Harrogate, I think. And of course he's associated with Crystal Palace as well, which is where Derry sort of got picked up from. And he looks a decent player, doesn't he? He'd be hoping to surpass even his own dad in what he can do, and he looks like he's got a lot of talent. Fernandez, I mean, all these players now are playing up. There's a cup final. There's a team to get into for a cup final. So, nobody wants to shirk it. Been a weird season, and again, you have that feeling Cole Palmer will be leaving at the end of the season. I think I'm not sure he's settled in the capital necessarily.
Yeah, a bit weird, but I don't know. I don't get the sense that Cole Palmer would leave. I always get the feeling if Cole Palmer was to leave, it's just to one of the Manchester sides. Obviously, with it being where he's from, I think he's always quite open and proud of being a Manchester lad. I don't know, maybe the successful hire to Bruno Fernandes, if he was to move on, maybe that would make a little bit of sense. But what season Bruno Fernandes is having. Cucurella's struggling in this opening 8 minutes, in my opinion. I thought his defending was really poor for the goal that Nottingham Forest actually scored, and he's just gone straight through the back.
I think there's a reason, because he got beat by Backward, and he's just saying to him there, that ain't going to happen again. He puts a reducer in. He probably should have got booked for that, because I don't think there's any great attempt to play the ball.
He's always been a little bit like that, hasn't he, Cucurella? It's almost like he'll know if one thing's happened, he's almost moving at 100% intensity to make up for it on the next collision. But we now see Tosin in possession. Chelsea just need to settle down, having a little bit more of the ball, and Rob Sanchez with a really short ball. Gusto deals with it pretty well. Well, Gusto, I think maybe a bit lucky to be playing games at the moment. I covered a game in Rossini's final game where they got hammered by Brighton 3-0 recently, and Malo Gusto was absolutely woeful. One of the worst individual performances I think I've watched all season. Enzo Fernandez picks it up though. He finds João Pedro. Advantage played by the referee, and João Pedro's darting straight through the middle. He then goes down. Free kick given, and a yellow card for Morata. I don't think there was much contact on that one. I thought the advantage foul was worse than that one.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think there's a little pullback. For me, though, he gets upside and then he starts to angle with him, and I think he worked hard enough to do that. So I agree with you there. Is it a contact sport? Isn't it? We keep asking that question, don't we? There was a penalty kick given for the tiniest little touch yesterday, and you just think, oh come on, let him get on with it. It was. I'm not even sure it was a free kick, that, to be honest. Anyway, there we go. Being given.
Yeah, as we see this free kick ready to be taken by Chelsea. Nottingham Forest. It's a very deep line, this, isn't it? For Nottingham Forest, almost parked on the edge of their own 6-yard boxes.
Why are they so deep there? Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's slightly strange to see. Enzo Fernandez goes for goal in the end, headed away by Wanye. It was strange to just visually look at that.
I think the reason why is because Morata is supposed to be the leader in there today, but he's never that.
Oh, wow. Enzo Fernandez just crashed the post. Just a little bit out of nothing there. It's just a quick throwing down the left-hand side. Derry did really well to keep it alive. Ball cut back from João Pedro. Found Enzo Fernandez. He met it first time. Great technique. And it just bounces off the post. Chelsea starting to grow into it.
It looked innocuous, that, didn't it? I mean, it's almost like he's trying to pass it into the back of the net. As the ball picked up by Nets now, he's gone cracking on, and they can't keep hold of him. Lavia just about keeping up with him, but spirited stuff this from the trees.
There it is. They're back in possession once more. It's going to be with Dominguez, who finds McAtee. Enzo Fernandez frustrated with his teammates. I'm not too sure if it's based on the lack of press there, but Nottingham Forest can recycle it to the right-hand side. Abbott Looks towards Igor Jesus. He gets a little bit of fortune as it bounces back to him. As it once again ricocheted off Cucurella. Backward once again gets the better of Cucurella. What a move that is. And backward wicks in towards the back post. And Wanya goes down. Goal kick given in the end.
Well, he was
they're
getting dragged
adamant
back.
It should be a penalty.
I think he was getting dragged back there. They'll take a look at it anyway. Backwards ball comes in. It's one that wants attacking. He was never going to get there. That's the thing. The camera didn't linger on the play. It lingered on the ball, so we didn't see. We'll get a better look at it now. From behind, Gusto's got hold of his shirt for too long there. He's got it for over a second. It's got to be a penalty. He's holding on to his shirt and he holds on for too long. And we can see the resistance of the shirt. He's pulling that shirt for just too long. And it's just a split second. It doesn't have to be that long, does it? But he's affecting the game there. Can't do that.
Well, what did I just say about Malo Gusto as well recently against Brighton? I mean, defensively, so bad. That's a penalty, in my opinion. Not necessarily for the fact of the amount of contact. I think it's the length of time on the contact. You can't hold the shirt that blatantly for that long. He's not just grabbed it and let go. He's held it.
I think that for me, they've got to give it. You know,
I agree.
He's really affecting the game. It means that the striker can't get to the ball. I don't think he was ever going to get there, but that's by the by. Anyway,
it's great from backward though, as well in the build-up. And Anthony Taylor's been suggested to go and have a look at the monitor. That means one thing, doesn't it?
They know that he's not seen it. He still might not give this, but I think in slow motion this is going to look really damning.
It usually means it gets given, doesn't it? But while we wait for that, one thing again on Delaney backward. I mean, he's absolutely torn Cucurella to bits there, hasn't he? He's just turned him one way, gone the other way.
I tell you what, I saw his name on the team sheet today, and I just shrugged my shoulders and second string.
Yeah.
You know, but he's taken Cucurella to the cleaners. He's taken on the outside, and now he's taking him on the inside with the ball in. Is it going to yield a penalty? Well, we'll have to wait for the referee. He's telling the crowd. He won't be telling us. We can't hear what he's saying. But anyway, he'd have to give it off what he's just seen. He's just doing the signal that the shirt was held. Nobody looks delighted, do they? But Gusto looks downcast, and so I guess it's a penalty, is it?
Well, it must be, but Ryan Yates looked confused.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a normal state of affairs. A yellow card for Malo Gusto. It's a penalty.
Yeah, penalty. What a start to this game. Who would have thought? We were chatting about Nottingham Forest throwing this game away for Europe, and here they are. They could go 2-0. Penalty coming up.
I would have put and lost my mortgage on Chelsea winning this game. But sometimes it's that thing. If you've got a cup final coming up, everybody goes into second gear, don't they? We don't want to overdo it. Don't be running around and getting injured before a cup final. And they've been pretty pathetic so far. And they've had problems at the back all year. Anyway, going to be Jesus for the penalty.
Yeah, if you're Leeds watching this from last week, you're thinking, where was this Chelsea at Wembley in that huge game? But we now see Igor Jesus ready to take this penalty. Anthony Taylor moves away from the penalty kick taker. Rob Sanchez dancing around on his line. The Chelsea faithful behind the goal trying to do what they can, but it's a great chance to make it 2-0. He steps up, bit of a stuttered run up. He puts it straight down the middle. Sanchez dives to his right, and the Brazilian wheels away towards the corner flag, celebrating. And what an opening 15 minutes this has been for Nottingham Forest. It's not just two fluky goals. They've deserved it. They've been great. They've got at Chelsea. They've forced mistakes, and Forest have a double advantage. 2-0.
Wow. Do you know what? I did Forest the other day, and I'm like, well, you know, they're playing with Igor Jesus today, who has got a terrible record, and I don't rate him. He was involved in 4 of the 5 goals. You know, sometimes things just click and people turn a corner, and it's like a new manager comes. I'm going to play with 2, and I like both of you guys, and he likes Jesus. You know. And he takes a good penalty there. I just think Sanchez is gone, and he knows. We're looking again at the just holding on to the shirt, Gusto, just too long. And the truth is that Gusto didn't need to do that because he's not going to get to the ball, is he?
The cross is overhit. That's the one downside to Backwards' actual play on the right-hand side. He done well, didn't he? He beat his man fantastically. The cross is overhit. That's just naive defending. I mean, it's inexcusable for a player to do that at a club like Chelsea, you know? That seems like a real lapse of concentration more than anything.
Yeah, it's a big mistake, isn't it? Clearly it's a mistake here, and he got punished for it. Maybe just it's the kind of thing that happens when you're struggling with your game. Anyway, we look at De Zerbi in disguise looking on, but I doubt he'll be thrilled with the fact that Chelsea aren't lifting a leg today.
Yeah, well, I think, as we said, we thought that even maybe a point for Nottingham Forest today would probably keep them safe, wouldn't it? It means, as it stands, they're going 6 points clear of the relegation zone, and there's some big games coming up. Leeds against Spurs is still to happen. Leeds against West Ham is still to happen as well. So some real big games. On paper, people probably thought Nottingham Forest had the trickier running. But right now, as they just win another free kick, the Nottingham Forest, a bit of a frustrated tackle, that more than anything.
Why is that not a yellow card? Why is that not a yellow card? He was never playing the ball. He swept his leg right round his man there, and it's out of frustration. I don't really care. You know, it's a yellow card all day and every day. Anyway, Forest are playing well, and Chelsea need to wake up, don't they? 2-0. Like I said, we never do boring games, do we? But the start for Forest has been superb today.
Yes, we see Enzo Fernandez picks it up. He's going to play it towards the right-hand side now for Cole Palmer, driving in towards the penalty area. He's got gusto, cuts inside on his left boot, goes for goal himself, and he almost puts it into the far top corner. That's better from Chelsea and better from that man, Cole Palmer, who's been a bit quiet over recent months, hasn't he? Had a lot of injury problems, but he cuts inside. It's not a terrible effort, but I think Sells had it covered.
Yeah, he dropped a shoulder and got nets out of his vision. It just didn't curl enough, but off his boot, I think we were both thinking that might just hit the top corner, but anyway, not quite. The way he was at the start of the season, in the summer, in the Club World Cup and all that as well, just his form was great. I think you'd like to hope that he's properly fully fit and ready to go and give his best at the World Cup, because his talent should be on a world stage.
Yeah, I think fully fit, he has to start for England. I really do. As Chalobah plays a poor forward ball, that took a touch off a Forest man, did it? Camarato keep it in. He slips as he does keep it in the end. Clever play from the Brazilian, just about. He's so casual. He knew there was no one pressuring him. No one followed it up as the one you gets the flick on. But it's at this stage now, 18 minutes in, 2-0 down. This is where Chelsea really have to take the game to Nottingham Forest. They need to show that they can respond, because they've got players capable of doing so. Not seen enough of the young man on the left so far, have we?
Well, no, but we haven't seen enough of Chelsea full stop. I think I really like that Forest are closing him down there. They're trying to play out from the back, but again, look how committed Forest are. Look at the bodies forward. You know, we just saw De Zerbi, but it's out of his playbook. If you saw how Spurs played their game, and it was like a ruthless commitment to being aggressive and having players up top and not giving them a moment, and certainly Forest have done that to Chelsea so far today.
As you see Lavia in towards Pedro, he takes a heavy touch, then he's caught. There's going to be a foul and a free kick that actually goes against João Pedro. A little bit late on the challenge with Dominguez. Brazilian on the Argentine, and Dominguez definitely left off a bit worse, but both of them hobbling around. And I tell you what, it's not a great challenge, actually, looking on the replay from João Pedro.
It should be. He's so late there, and he drops right in his foot, and again it should be a yellow card, and again it won't be given, will it? We look at that shot from Fernandez that hit the post. It's an excellent strike, isn't it? Right-footed curl. It just didn't curl in enough. It's a shame from Chelsea's point of view, but that would have given a sheen to what has been a really one-sided, weird start to the half. Hard to believe that Forest are 2 goals to the good, but as Kieran said, they've absolutely deserved it.
Yeah, and Cucurella has finally got one on back with there as Derry's coming forwards on the left-hand side. He checks away onto his right boot, plays the safer option to go back to Caicedo. Ball on the left-hand side for Cucurella. He can't bring them forward. There's just feels like there's not enough blue shirts in the final third. It feels like they're just getting completely outswarmed by Nottingham Forest. It's why they're having to keep going sideways, backwards, as Lavia picks it up back into their own half. Chelsea go up. Cucurella picks the forward ball for Derry, who's at 1v1 against Abbott. Checks back onto his left foot, back to Cucurella again. And once again, they falls back into their own half. Good solid shape from Forest. It's almost a very flat 4-4-2, isn't it? It's very clear what Forest's game plan is.
Yeah, but and what they're doing well is what Leeds failed to do, which is engage the fullbacks. Chelsea did really well at Wembley because Cucurella and Gusto were able to get forward. and Leeds sort of let them. I think when you've got two strikers, you can't have 2 against 2, can you? So that means that one of the defenders or one of the midfielders has to drop back naturally. You want an overload of defenders, and it just makes it more difficult for them to press forward and be aggressive, which is what they did to Leeds. Absolutely deserved their goal in 30 minutes. Here, though, they've been put on the back foot, and it's been a different story completely.
Yeah, that maybe should have been a free kick. A little bit of a late challenge from Abbott on Derry, but play continues, and Chelsea remain on a bit of a half attack. Gusto driving down the right hand side. He checks back again, looks towards Cole Palmer onto his stronger left boot, finds Lavia, and it's all the way back once again. Did that need to be a slow pass back to Tosin? As you now see Caicedo back to Tosin. They were through on the right hand side. They've ended up back at the halfway line. Lavia again under pressure from Jesus. He finds Gusto. Cole Palmer makes the run down the right hand side. He gets there ahead of Marato, takes a poor touch, goes out for a Forest throw-in. It's all very lethargic from Chelsea in attack there. It's very slow.
It is slow, and the thing is that nobody's making any moves for anybody. Nobody's putting themselves in the red for this game. They don't want to. So it's all about just neat triangles, popping the ball around. We saw that with Lavia. We're thinking, well, what on earth are you trying to do there? Pass the ball back 40 yards when they were on the attack. Not good enough. I'm sure there's a good player in Lavia, but he's so off the boil at the minute. I think they try to play him into form, But they've got a corner kick out, nothing there, and they've taken it quickly. Maybe a chance here.
Yeah, as you now see Caicedo in towards Enzo Fernandez, back to Gusto. He looks across the face of goal. It's completely overhit, and it really sums it up in this opening 23 minutes for Chelsea. Terrible cross from Malo Gusto, who's had a terrible start to this game as well. McFarlane watches on, and he'll be desperate to find a way to fix this. Doesn't look too happy, but I don't really blame him because his side have been woeful so far. But we've reached the halfway stage of this first half. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest B team 2, so we called them. Well, they might be starting every week from now on, but I'll hand you over to John till half time.
Well, when I said B team, I meant B for brilliance. So anyway, he's pretty much a second string. But we did add a caveat there as Caicedo and Lavia bump into each other and both end up on the ground.
I'll tell you what, it makes it hard, doesn't it, maybe for Vitor Pereira. Well, these players might warrant more minutes midweek in the second leg as well.
Well, listen, talk about motivation. If this is your second string, think if I play well, I might get to a European final. What more motivation can you have? So on the other side of it, it's a Chelsea first string thinking, I don't want to get injured before a cup final. On the other side of it, you've got Forest second string saying, if I impress, I might get to a cup final. And that at the moment seems to be the difference. Chelsea, though, expensively assembled on paper, they should be winning at a canter. Can they bring their quality to bear? Now with the tossing the ball down the middle, Enzo at his feet. But some good defending by Cunha, who comes out the pack there, does well. Back right again, little heel, clever from him, finds Jesus, little jag into midfield, and then Yates, back to Abbott, at his feet, Cunha, and then all the way back to the keeper. That's pretty poor from Matt Sells, didn't need to be either. But the thing is, they've got big lads up top, they didn't win. They won the header next, but didn't win the second ball. Went off Yates' head, back to Cucurella. But 25 minutes in, Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 2, and the trees have been rampant. Anyway, for Chelsea, can they get something going? Here is Cole Palmer on the ball. Nets has already shown plenty of pace today. But Gusto now has been put in the clear chance to run at Marato, gets a cross in to the far post, and a shot comes in from Derry on the volley, leaning back, always difficult. It's a fair attempt.
Yeah, it's one of those, you can't really do anything else with the cross. It's a very deep cross, and what a way to score your first professional goal that would have been. What an attempt, but yeah, he puts it over the bar. Abbott not really too touch tight to him, was a little bit desperate as he was scrambling back, but the Nottingham Forest fans will flap that up as they all at the same time just like lifted their arms as if they were starting a Mexican wave, but that's just because there was weighing the fact that it almost went out the stand.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I don't think they'd be starting much for a Mexican wave in there. Yeah, he'd only go an eighth of the ground, I think, even less. And Chelsea fans, it's Bank Holiday Monday. They're supporting their team, thinking, come on, it's still good, could be a good season. But this team are very hot and cold, and so far today, absolutely freezing cold. Couturier on the ball, but it's inside his own half again. It's not really where he wants to be. So he's almost like in the middle of midfield at the moment. He's too close to Caicedo and Lavia. Cole Palmer seems to be the out ball. Anyway, here he is again at the edge of the box, looking to cut. Nets stuck with him pretty well. The little heel turn. Palmer keeps going, finds Fernandes just outside the D. Couturier, and then Derry. Can he have a go at Abbott here? Takes him into the box. Gets it out of his feet, but he runs into Yates, loses the ball. Backward gives the ball away just about. It rolled over the foot of Jesus. Not much he could do with that. But it is Chelsea back on the ball. 27 minutes gone. I wouldn't rule them out from winning the game. They've got enough about them. They've got enough good players. And for the moment, it looks like Forest now have reverted to type. It's sitting back, low blocking, and hoping for the best. Chelsea have got enough quality that they should be able to pick through this and grab at least a goal, and then one goal probably brings two, doesn't it? So it's not a forlorn task yet for Chelsea, far from it, but they need to play better. Derry there just overrunning it, able to toe end it away, eventually finds Caicedo. The ball breaks to Palmer again. He runs into Nets, is taking the ball off him, and then he can sprint away. Well, he would have done had he not been tripped up there by Palmer. And again, I can't help but think that if that's at the City ground, it's probably a yellow card.
Yeah, it was great defending though from Nets the whole time. Chelsea, it felt like they managed to find a way to create a chance, but even the build-up, it was all just a little bit scrappy, wasn't it? There was some heavy touches, there was some almost poor movement. Romeo Lavia once again takes such a heavy touch. There's a little footing on him, but because of his physical stature, he managed to recover it. It wasn't great from Chelsea at all. They need to get Cole Palmer involved a little bit more. He's always more dangerous, I think, when he's on the right-hand side. It means he finds those little more pockets of space, and he can clearly just get it onto his left foot. You know what he wants to do, but he's so hard to stop. But yeah, some regulars who are usually pretty good for Chelsea just not got going so far. I think Caicedo looks a little bit slow.
He's having a weird season, isn't he? He doesn't look the player that played so well at Brighton. Clearly he's a very good player, and he'll point to Club World Cup and all that nonsense. But anyway, he's had an up and down season. Like I said, Lavia, I think they want him to be great, and I think he's got potential, but he's not that player right at the moment. Couturier then, good ball to Enzo Fernandez. He then in turn finds Derry. Couturier then looking to overlap him, and he should be able to get crossing from the left. He does. Stands a good looking ball in. It's a good header away though. Breaks to Chelsea. Lavia now looking for the volley, blocked by Dominguez, and the ball should be saved from going out for a corner by McAtee. Derry they're clobbered late, I think. I don't know who did that to him, but let's take another look at it. So just Ryan Yates shoving him before he got into the box there. That's pretty typical of Yates, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he may have just caught him in the eye, hence why he's actually down. There's not much, and I think that's what Jesse there is saying. He's almost like blinking at the referee.
It's right in front of Anthony Taylor as well, who, again, I've said this before. I don't think there's a good referee in the Premier League at the minute, and Anthony Taylor's been around long enough. Well, if only they could find a time machine, get Thiago Silva back into this side. He'd walk into it. Still playing, isn't he, Thiago Silva? And still playing pretty well. And he's watching in the stand today. Seen him in Europe this season. Anyway, terrific. Even though his legs had gone, it was a bit much at Premier League level, I think, to sort of try and make do without him. But anyway, we're looking at Thomas Tuchel looking on. Alberto Martinez as well sat next to him. So plenty plenty to consider. We were talking about Cole Palmer for England earlier. I don't think you'd be talking about Chalobah or Adorabioyo out the Forest side. Nobody out of this team really, even though James McAtee had gone through the normal route of under 21s, which they like, don't they, England? He's nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Anyway, can he get things going? When the under 21s won the World Cup, even though McAtee was the captain, wasn't he, of that? I don't think he played particularly well. Anyway, that's for another day. It's Chelsea back on the ball. Clearly Derry's all right with his hand. I see a long ball, one bounce, gone straight out. And you can tell, as Derry's come back on now, you can tell that the Chelsea fans I can almost hear the murmuring and hubbub of "this is rubbish." Do you know what I mean? And what are we doing?
They'll be a bit shocked. I think they'll have come into this thinking, not that we've got our Chelsea back, just based off a 1-0 victory as being heavy favourites going into the game anyway against Leeds at the weekend, but they'll have thought, right, well, we've got our mojo back a little bit. We've got almost just fresh ideas. Again, yes, McFarlane was a part of the coaching staff still, but it's all very different, isn't it? But they've reverted back, if not look even worse than when Rossini was here.
It's a chance for Jesus, and a shot comes in and stings the palms. Great play again. Terrible defending again. Chelsea have not got hope at Wembley against Man City, have they? If they play like this, I think they're going to get destroyed anyway. But do you know what? They're just not lifting a leg today. But this is endemic of this team. It's like, if we need to do, we can play well. If we don't need to, we might not bother. And I think they've been doing it all season. Was it Leighton Orient boss who said at the end of the season, just destroyed his team? They've not been worthy of, for 10 months they've been picking. And he said I was defending him, with the fans, and he said I shouldn't have done really, because they weren't worth it. Anyway, this Chelsea team bags of talent, but where's the leadership? Where's the heart? I don't know. Anyway, strong challenge on the Yates there. Again, the referee happy enough with it. Yates picks himself back up. Maybe he was playing the old soldier there. As Derry's on the ball, left-hand side. Wants to cut onto his right backward. Read that pretty well. But anyway, it will be a throw for Chelsea, who need to get going, and haven't really. Fernandes seems to be playing okay, and Palmer's getting involved. Great ball to Enzo Fernandes in the D, but he just got one or two too many blockers in front of him. It is almost like there's two players playing today for Chelsea, isn't it? And everybody else is just walking around. Yeah,
it's Enzo Fernandes once again. In a weird way, I don't think he's having a bad game at all. I think he's been quite influential when Chelsea are doing pretty okay things. They've just got to get him involved as much as possible. He just seems cleverer than his teammates at the moment. A little bit quicker. He's not taking his time as much as the likes of Lavia and Caicedo have been. Just seeing that handball shout back again. We didn't see it too well.
No, we didn't. He was Derry now. And, well, he's gone for a strike. It's on target. He's gone through the legs of the defender in front of him. Never troubling Sells, though. Again, we take a look at the hand that's come out from Dominguez. The ball had hit him on the hand. You know what? If that's Europe, they probably give that, don't they? But his chance, McAtee then driving into the box. He didn't really have an option there. So he's won the corner kick. I think he's done as well as he could do. He said, I didn't hear you or something. But anyway, his teammates weren't really with him. And I tell you what, they're not a small side here, Forest. They've got two big hulking strikers. They've got a 6'6" centre back in Jaya Cunha. They've got a captain who's probably 6'2" or 3. Morato's a big boy. they've got a few options here. And the way that Chelsea defend, are we going to be looking at 3-0? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? So Bakwa then delivering from the left. Daisy cutter, and the shot comes in from McAtee, and he's heading his hands at the minute. Nobody picked him up. Terrible defending.
Yeah, I wonder whether he's hit his own man. He has. On live viewing it, I thought it took a deflection off a red shirt. He's hit it. You can't see it pretty well. I think it was going central. I do think Rob Sanchez would have just had a bit of an easy save, but I like it. It's clever, it's inventive from Nottingham Forest. I'll tell you what, when you're down there battling, you've got to come up with ideas, haven't you, to really save your season. It's what they've done over the last month and a half. They've quite clearly done well in thinking of those ideas, because like I said, 9 unbeaten in all competitions. As it stands, 2-0 up at Stamford Bridge will make it 10.
Yeah, so they're cooking with gas all right. That might have gone in as well, by the way, because it came heavily off Morato's chest, but Sanchez there was rooted to the spot, and in the end it sort of hit the side netting on the outside of the goal. It wasn't too far away. Cole Palmer then on the ball to Fernandez here. They're a two-man team today. As Caicedo finds it, Derry. What's he got? Left foot cross. Looks quite two-footed, doesn't he? Young Jesse Derry. And I think his dad, Sean, if I remember rightly, was all left foot, wasn't he? I can't quite remember. 37 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 2. And the Trees going a long way to making themselves secure in the division, and also giving themselves a chance to go to a European final. Yeah, the Forest fans will be rooting about in little cupboards and shelves and drawers. Where's my passport? It's out of date. You better sort yourself out, lads. Anyway, they're João Pedro, who at one point this season I thought was the best striker in the Premier League. He's been a bit quiet today, hasn't he?
It's tricky, really tricky with João Pedro. I never see him as just a lone striker. I really don't watch João Pedro and think that's a striker there. I think sometimes you see teams play maybe 2 up top or a 10 very close. I think he's more of that. He struggled today to get involved. Here he is though on the right.
He is. We talked about him, and then he done a little bit of magic to recycle the ball. Gets it away to Palmer, and then Gusto goes backwards to Tosin, and then Cucurella. The ball goes out to the left-hand side, and then again with Derry. Tries to flick it with the outstep of his right boot this time. Abbott got there, but the ball breaks back to Enzo Fernandez, who decides to switch play. Out to Palmer, instant control. A little feint, step over. Lavia, what's he going to do? He's done really well there initially. Looking for a little give and go with Fernandez, who is wriggling and wriggling. João Pedro then can't find Cucurella. Lavia wins it back. Smart work from him. Then it's with Derry. And again, he's trying that little flick with the outstep of his right boot. Abbott stuck with it, but it's a corner.
Yeah, once again, just thought Romeo Lavia was just too hesitant on the edge of the box. It was like he quite clearly wanted to pick the pass, but he could be sharper, and he could have picked it 5 seconds before he did it. Just allowed Nottingham Forest to close him down, force him to panic a little bit more. Just needs to be sharper. That's what it is for Chelsea.
Anyway, corner kick comes in, far post. Sells flaps at that before the ball is eventually headed away. Yates had gone down though, and referee spotted something at the near post. Oh, he absolutely bundled over there by Tosin. So yeah, just he elbowed him in the back. I tell you what, if I did that to Ryan Yates, I'd quickly run away. Well, it wasn't me. Not me, Ryan. Somebody else, lad.
Well, he's always involved in that stuff, isn't he? He's one of those players that if he plays for your club, and obviously such a Nottingham Forest legend as well, I mean, they must adore him. If they could pick anybody, I think, to score in the Europa League final, 90th minute, I think every Nottingham Forest fan unanimously says probably Ryan Yates. That's how much he's loved.
I mean, well, yeah, wouldn't that be off the bench? He probably wouldn't have started in that game, is he? But you know, if you wanted somebody to scrap for your life, it'd be him, wouldn't it? Anyway, we talked about João Pedro, showed a little bit of quality there, and now he near the byline, and he does a great little drop of the shoulder, gets the byline, and he just wanted to take on Yates, just one too many, and he's asking for something there. But Anthony Taylor's saying, no, you went down too easy, mate. Some absolute phenomenal skills there from João Pedro.
There is. He's one of those. He does pretty well, but I think him doing well puts him in a worse position than, once again, if he was just a little bit snappy with it, a little bit more efficient, pick your pass when you're out on the left-hand side. I think as soon as he took his decision to go round the left-hand side of the defender rather than the right, he's only really running one way, and it's out of play, isn't it? João Pedro, a little bit sharper from him, a little bit better, but there's still a lot to improve for the home side.
Yeah, that's it. They're playing a little bit one-out football, apart from the two lads who keep passing to each other, Fernandes and Palmer. We're seeing little bits and pieces. It's like everybody's taking a half to warm up for Chelsea. Are we bothered? Well, we might bother eventually. If you pick and choose your time to turn it up or turn it down, I think that can become a really bad habit. You tend not to see a Man City do that. Arsenal have been flat recently. I think sometimes when you're playing twice a week, that's all easier said than done. There's now an opportunity for the Trees, but the ball to McAtee doesn't give him a chance to pick it up really. Trevor Chalobah has the ball. Another one who's probably not good enough at the back. I don't think that they've particularly got any great centre backs. Their best centre back's probably at West Ham, isn't he?
Well, the main positive in that department, Levi Colwill back in the squad today, who's been missing for a long time. I do think he is their best centre half. He's on the bench. That's going to be a free kick given away by Luke Nets, but I think the aim is for Levi Colwill. I think if you can get him fully fit, at least by the time they play that final, I think that's the game they'll really aim for it.
Next season, maybe Dizazi back and Colwill will make a good partnership. Anyway, that's for another day, I guess. There's a free kick now for Chelsea on the right-hand side, quite a long way away from goal. Forest are massive today. They're a big team. So they're going to take a bit of beating, but Tosin putting himself in the mix. In comes the delivery. It's a bullet in. It's a great defensive header from Morato, and the ball will be fetched by Derry. Lays it back to Kucharaya. Awoniyi tries to get close to him, but he didn't stick with him, did he? And then Kucharaya, a ball then. Good little header from João Pedro. Ball breaks then to Cole Palmer. Looking for João Pedro. A shot comes in from Gusto. He hits it into the ground. It loops up, but it's saved by the keeper. There was half a shout for a penalty there. Cameron Lingers on Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, it was a risky one from Bakwa, I thought, because he looked like he was holding on, but then seeing the replay, he's losing his balance in that sense. So maybe that's going to help Bakwa for that one. But yeah, I thought he was maybe playing a dangerous game, but no penalty.
No, because he wasn't hanging on, was he? It's like he fell over backwards. He was clumsy. Lavia, a ball to João Pedro, sends him a little bit wider, but into the box. His cutback's decent, but Yates then thumps it away. Safety first. Chelsea then showing a little bit of quality before the end of the half, and we haven't got too long before that. And then Enzo Fernandez falls over the ball just to make a fool out of me. But anyway, can he deliver a good ball in now? Kucharaya goes short. Another ball comes on the field from the Forest fans, I reckon. Anyway, one hand in the air, probably near post. That means ball comes in, far post, and Sells claws it away, and that will be another corner kick.
Yeah, another corner kick coming up. Just seeing the penalty shout once again. Yeah, I don't think he holds on. I think the only time he does hold on is he's facing the other way and falling over his backwards. So it's, he doesn't really know the situation that he's in. I think Gusto was definitely looking for it.
Yeah, and at the same time, Gusto didn't overdo it, did he? He didn't scream "aye" and he didn't roll around 3 times and do all that. As the corner kick comes in, maybe a chance for Derry now. The ball bounced inside the box, but it's a big collision there. The referee got to stop it, and
he's giving a penalty.
Has he?
He's pointed to the spot. The Forest players can't believe it for the challenge on Derry. It didn't look like a penalty. The Chelsea fans started celebrating. The Forest players are just bemused by it. It just seemed like 2 players battling for the ball in the air. And unless Derry wins the header first and then gets clattered, then the decision is justified. Vitor Pereira can't believe it. He's talking to McFarlane.
We'll find out, won't we? I mean, you know, he's made a split-second decision. If he's got it wrong, it'll be overturned. So we needn't worry. What we got to worry about is the 2 players in question, and you know the collision that they've just been in, which was looked pretty horrendous, really. I couldn't tell because I think we were all watching the ball. Maybe Anthony Taylor had a better, look at that than we did. And I think the thing is, sometimes when it's a collision like this and there might be a bad injury, they don't they tend not to want to show it.
Yeah, there's a reason why we've not been shown. Well, they're showing right now, but I mean, they're both in pretty similar situations. I mean, Jesse Derry, he's been in the wars a little bit in this one, but he's completely laid flat out on his back. He's moving. We've just seen movement in his legs, so I'm not sure he's conscious in this situation.
You could tell by the way that his legs were that he looked like he'd been unconscious, because there's no tension in that body at all, is there? You know, he's absolutely flat out poleaxed. I don't like that. Anyway, it's Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 2. We're waiting, and it's difficult to know because they're not showing us the collision again. It looked a nasty one, really, but because the ball had moved away, then all eyes were off it. We think Anthony Taylor's given a penalty, but of course that will all be sorted out in the wash. But at the moment, for young 18-year-old Jesse Derry, he's more concerned that he'd lost consciousness and he looked flat out. We'd seen him move, and maybe all this stuff now with this stretch and what have you, we're hoping is precautionary stuff. The players, of course, are having a heated debate about it all, as they do.
Abbott seems a lot better, doesn't he? He's still sat down, but he's lent up, he's chatting, he doesn't have any mark on his face, whereas there is real concern for the young lad, isn't there, Derry?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot around him. He gets up in front of the Forest fans and they give him a good hand. But two young lads, aren't they? Zach Abbott's only 19. He's been around a little bit more. We've seen him, and good combative player and all that. But these things happen, don't they? Will he even know he's given away a penalty? If he was to blame, or if it's something that like when he was getting up there, he would have got carded by Anthony Taylor. Maybe he's forgotten, and he's going to go off because he's had treatment, obviously. But yeah, there are too many people. There's too much action around the player who's not moving it. It's not good. We'll have to wait, and of course. The clock's rolled over past 48 minutes where we are now. So, it's one of those things. Never good to see.
But usually, no matter what happens, when we hit the 45th minute, we get told the added time anyway. And if it has to go over because of the delay, it just goes over, doesn't it? We've not been told an added time, but we're 3 minutes into what should be an added time period, unless maybe there is... other indications of it. No, I don't believe anyone really knows how much added time we're going to get, but it's probably going to be lengthy.
I think so, and again, but it's more about how this young lad is. They try to get him onto a stretcher now, but I'm hoping all that's precautionary, and they don't want to move him, so they're getting him on the 2-part stretcher, having to shove it underneath him, which is not good. I think they try to get oxygen into him as well. None of it's any good. None of it's any good that we're seeing. It's a real worry. Anyway, fingers crossed. I mean, can't imagine, family watching it and all that. What they're, be frightened to death, won't they? But anyway, it is Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 2, and there's no way he's going to be kicking a ball again today. It just ain't going to happen, is it?
So, such a shame as well, isn't it? Especially more so, it doesn't really matter who it is, but more so for the fact it's a young lad making his debut. He looked slightly confident, didn't he? In a really tricky game, he seemed to want the ball.
He wasn't shrinking for the. He was showing for the ball all the time. Nico Williams looks like he's going to come on for Zach Abbott. He got stripped off, so they're making that change, and I'm sure that Chelsea will have to make theirs as well. That Delap coming on, so change for both the teams and a change of shape. Nico Williams has been playing pretty well, I think, and he can play on either flank. I don't know whether Nets plays on the right, because Nico Williams, I think, prefers playing left, doesn't he? Got number 3 on his back anyway, which always suggests a left back, doesn't it? But Delap's had I think, a really disappointing season. He's definitely second string, isn't he, to João Pedro?
Yeah, he definitely is. He just needs to adapt his game, Liam Delap. I feel like every time I watch him at the moment, he's on just a bit of a bulldozer mentality that he has to foul and smash everybody in front of him. He's not really street smart, is Liam Delap. And I thought that when he was at Ipswich as well, I thought there's no way this guy's ready for that big move. Yes, I think he outperformed what potentially he should have done at Ipswich, which credit to you. You'd rather do that. But yeah, I thought he took that jump way too quick. I mean, it was either going to be Chelsea or Manchester United, wasn't it? Two huge moves. It felt like he just needed the next step from a relegated Ipswich, maybe a Fulham or a Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? Maybe even Newcastle. They really struggled this season. But yeah, he really struggled to make his mark. Yes, he's had a couple of good moments. He's laughing about something with Rob Sanchez in the fourth official, but still waiting for the game to continue.
Yep. So that summed him up. He did play well in the Premier League for a team that were going down and all that. And I think he'd shone. But yeah, he seems to be wanting to fight everybody. And you think, well, no, it's about football, mate. It's about putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not whether you can chin somebody, is it? You don't get extra points for that. But anyway, they're just beginning to wrap it up now with Jesse Derry. He's been down an awful long time though, and like we said, it's a concern because he looked properly poor-legged. He looked like he'd lost consciousness, and it did look like they're trying to get air into him. That might all be like precautionary. They might just be worried about how he dropped and his neck and all that, so you tend to try and isolate somebody, don't you? Let's hope all this, but there's just so many people around him, and it just doesn't look good. And they're still working on him, and that's been way too long. So we can count it. That was a few minutes before the break. So how long have they been working on him now? 8 minutes or something.
Yeah, he's still down. I mean, he was down for a while by the time we'd acknowledged the fact that we're in the 48th minute. So that's about 5 minutes on now as well. Must have been down a good 8 to 10 minutes in this one. And yeah, I mean, it's probably the penalty may have been confirmed because surely they've had time to check it over. We've not really had any other indication. We've not seen the challenge back, so we can't even give our view on whether we think it's a penalty or not.
No, but what we can tell you is that he's now getting taken off. Strapped in, they're taking 8 of them to lift him off, but what a day for him, his first full debut in the Premier League, and he probably wake up in hospital and say, did I play well? Right, we've got a chance to see what went on there. It's just a collision. I couldn't have given a penalty for that. I think it's just one of those things. Both had gone for the ball. He had given a penalty. Anyway, so Derry off and Liam Delap on, as we'd mentioned, and it's going to be Cole Palmer to take the penalty. I wouldn't have given a penalty for that. I just don't think it's right.
Yeah, 5 minutes of added time. Well, we're 10 minutes into it. Is that 5 minutes from now or 5 minutes from the 45?
Is it a minus 5 minutes then? Anyway, here's Cole Palmer, steps up, and it's saved by the keeper. Palmer tries to get it again, ball goes out, and I think there's a bit of karma. Matt Sells getting mobbed by his teammates, and quite rightly, right in front of the Forest fans behind the goal. I just think there was a collision there, and that was bad enough. Don't give a penalty off the back of that. I don't know what I think about that.
Well, penalty or not, he's got to do better, hasn't he? Cole Palmer, he tries to send it into the far bottom corner, right where those Forest fans are. It's a great save, isn't it, from Matt Sells, because he gets down really quick. He doesn't get too much power on it, but then the rebound as well. Palmer's there. He tries to touch it round Matt Sells from such a tight angle. If you take it round him, you're running off the field of play, which is exactly what he did in the end. So I don't know why he's not gone for goal on the rebound either. But yeah, a moment that really just sums up the half.
I think so. Another strong challenge, middle of the park. Dominguez goes down. In fact, it was Jesus, but nothing accruing. I think the penalty makes you want to play poker against Cole Palmer, doesn't it? he's doing that thing where his eyes, he keeps looking at one part to go, I'm going to put it there, I'm going to put it there. He's not. And Sells just guesses that he's not going to, he's not going to go where his eyes are going. And it's simple. And then he doesn't get it in the corner anyway. You just think, oh, yeah, all right. So it was a poor penalty. It was, for me, a poor penalty decision. I don't like that. I think two guys going for a header, one slightly late, they have a collision. I don't know. But it just seems really harsh on Zach Abbott that anyway they didn't score it, and it remains Chelsea 0, Forest 2. Are into the twilight zone now because out of 5 minutes added on, we've now hit 56. But it was such a long delay. It does seem weird that they come up with that figure 5 minutes after, Anyway, the attempted cross from João Pedro comes in. He's playing inside left now, and Nico Williams now gets one in the face. Oh, it's carnage out there. We're never going to finish this. We've got a game at 5:30. Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah, we do. Vito Pereira watching on, he'll be delighted though, won't he, with this first half. I mean, they started brilliantly. First 15 minutes, they just went for Chelsea completely, and they've reaped the rewards for it in the first half as Forest owner Marinakis watches on. You think his team are losing 2-0. He don't look chuffed, does he?
Yeah, but the good news for the manager, he ain't going to get chinned today. Well, at least not at half time anyway. Play goes on. Goodness knows what Anthony Taylor's going to put on. But here for Chelsea, a really poor first half, never-ending first half of football. It's probably going to take about an hour, but a lot of that was down to that sickening injury collision, and Jesse Derry's gone off his full debut. What a day for him, and his family looking on would have been pleased as punch, and then frightened to death, wouldn't they? Anyway, fingers crossed that he's all right. But we talked about it just after kick-off. We said it's Forest B team, but Forest B beats Chelsea C at the minute. In fact, C minus, C me, and they look like a load of players who don't want to get injured before going to Wembley. So they've certainly not got into top gear at all today. But one man who wants to go to cup final is Dylan Bakwa, who's had a good first half. Put some decent ball in, taking Kuchere to the cleaners on the outside and the inside. That's helped them get the 2 goals. There's a little heel there, didn't work out. Yates fights for the ball. Fernandes is enough to put him off. Then Bakwa's a good ball forward. Just creases off McAtee's knees. A little bit unlucky there. And I think regardless, I'd be in the concourse of the stadium now, having a pint and having a pie, because surely 58, nearly 59 minutes is too long for a first half. I wouldn't want to be pie depleted for that long. Anyway, the game's still going on. There's 5 minutes of added time now. We're into the 60th minute. This guy stayed up. Ball out to his right. It's difficult to know what you're going to do if you're Chelsea. They essentially can afford to throw the game away. Not a great look when you're playing at home. Referee's called it for the half anyway, and it is Chelsea 0, Forest 2.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from Bakwa, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells guessed the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from Bakwa, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved it, and going into the break, it is 2-0 to Forest. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and what a first half that was for Nottingham Forest as they're 2-0 up away at Chelsea. They took the lead in the opening 2 minutes. Great ball in from backward, found the head of a one-year, and it was a bullet header into the near top corner. Then a penalty 10 minutes later was dispatched by Igor Jesus. Right before half-time, Chelsea got given a penalty of their own, but Cole Palmer kind of just sums up their performance. Sells gets the right way, he saved. And we will leave that just there because we are back underway at Stamford Bridge for this second half. It is Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 2. And we've just seen a whole host of substitutions, which I'll bring you in a moment. Liam Delap straight away on the attack, but he takes a terrible touch and he puts it out of play. Well, there's been a change for Chelsea. Levi Colwill has come on for Ada Aboya, which is an interesting one, very much like for like. Levi Colwill's missed a whole chunk of this season, so what a positive that is. And for Nottingham Forest, they've made a triple change. They've brought on the big guns. Milenkovic on for Cunha, Anderson on for Dominguez, and Gibbs-White on for Igor Jesus. So plenty of changes. Nottingham Forest starting to look like their A side again. Who might become the B team if they don't play too well in this second half. It's still myself, Kieran Graham, alongside John Hogan. Well, we needed that half-time break, didn't we, John? Simply for the fact there was a lot to talk about in the first half. We had about 45 minutes of added time as well.
Yeah, you handed over to me, and then I was talking for 40 minutes, it seemed. It seemed unfair what happened. But, no, I mean, horrible for Jesse Derry. Obviously, that injury really cast a shadow over the first half. But, you know, for the Forest and their fans, they'd be absolutely delighted. You know, they would have looked at the team, the travelling Trees faithful, and just thought, I get it. Do you know what I mean? We got bigger fish to fry, and it's really good that he's doing that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, wow, we sat on 3 points, and it's like, we'll spend a little bit of first team players here to try and get us over the line, and I think that's what he's done at the break. Elliot Anderson, great. Dominguez, he was playing okay, but Dominguez might play in midweek. Jay Cunha won't play midweek, but Milenkovic comes on and strengthens anyway. And Morgan Gibbs-White, he's going to start, you know, in midweek. But he's such an influential player, and he looks like he's got bags of energy back when you see him play. Certainly the last 90 minutes, doesn't he? So no surprise to see him get a little bit of game time here, and Forest are on the ball now.
Yeah, he's a great player, isn't he? Gibbs-White so almost made that move to Tottenham in the summer. Well, how strange would that have been? There's no way he'd have expected Tottenham to be the way they are this season. In the build-up to that move falling through, he was very much wanting that move as well, as Matt Sells is going to go along. 2.5 minutes into this second half, no real football to talk about, hence why we've been rambling on about other things, as we see João Pedro on the attack. Milenkovic just used his body strong from the centre half, who will know the task in hand. Like I said, they brought on 3 heavy hitters, 3 of their key players, if not the more key players. Literally, you would pick those 3, Elliot Anderson, Milenkovic and Gibbs-White, to be the most influential, I'd say, outfield in a Forest shirt, as Forest do win a free kick. And for Chelsea this second half, John, I think they have to start quick, get the crowd on board a little bit for a potential comeback.
Well, like I said, 1 goal brings 2, doesn't it? You know, 2-0 is a tricky scoreline, because do you sit back and defend it? Well, at the moment, they're not doing that. Ball into the box, half a chance for Gibbs-White. Was he caught late there? I don't think it mattered, and actually I think it's a good decision from the referee not to do anything. Good ball in from Elliot Anderson, bounces through the box. Yeah, Milenkovic, I'd seen him recently, and I thought he'd stalled a little bit. And but his last game I saw him, and he was absolutely awesome, and I think he was man of the match. You know, absolutely brilliant in the midweek game against Aston Villa. I'm going to be doing the game in midweek, so I'm really looking forward to that. But
yeah, we're doing it together.
Yeah, so it's bound to be a good game. But Milenkovic in the first leg was absolutely awesome. So return to form for him. You know, Murillo is missing, but I think Morata stepped up and looked all right today. But you can tell he's not the senior partner. We saw that with that sort of low line they were holding for a free kick. It looked a bit off, didn't it? So you need your leaders back in for that kind of thing. But clearly, Vitor Pereira thinks, you know, they need to get another goal, make it secure, because they've come out really positive this second half.
Yes, we now see Lavia, ball down the right hand side for Gusto. Who's going to get there first? He's up against nets. He's way more advanced already. Gusto in the second half whips in a dangerous ball, and it trickles all the way towards the back post. Cucurella keeps it in play. He dinks it back in, looking towards Gusto on the far side again. Gusto takes it down the channel up against nets. He looks for a ball in, takes a deflection, and out for a corner. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, it is. They couldn't be any worse, really, could they? We were talking about not moving. Economy of effort, I think you might call it, in the first half. All worried they might get injured. But I think they've gone in there and had a chat with each other and said, look, we all know that we're not doing enough. Turn it up. Turn up for the second half. Give the fans something.
Yes, Enzo Fernandez whips it in towards the centre. Skims off the top of the head, and Cucurella hits a strike that goes miles over the bar. And I mean... not a great one. You can imagine what the away end made of that
one. You know what? He's giving it a go. You can't say any more than that, really. Again, Mark Cucurella, he's a bit of a Marmite player, but what we all know is he can be a great player, you know. And there, he's getting a bit of a chasing from Dylan Bakwa today. It seems a really bad fit for him. A two-footed player who can go either way. And it's really putting Cucurella off balance when he's having to defend. But we know he's actually better going forward anyway. Maybe that's the problem with Chelsea. None of the defenders want to defend it. Everyone wants to stride forward with the ball. But interesting to see Caldwell back in it. And as you rightly pointed out, the first half, he probably is their best centre back anyway. So good to see him back. Whether he's back in time to make it into Wembley final, I don't know.
Yeah, you now see Gibbs White goes towards the right hand side for Elliot Anderson. He plays a lovely reverse pass, and Gibbs White is in on the right hand side, plays it across the face of goal, and that is just brilliant from Nottingham Forest. And it's a lovely ball across the face of goal. There's that man Taiwo Awoniyi, who once again is lurking at the back post. What a goal. It's all about Elliot Anderson, it's all about Gibbs White, and Taiwo Awoniyi is appreciating that. What a move. Hey, that's what happens when you bring on the big guns. 3-0.
Well, that's football, isn't it? That's football. And you could see, as soon as you said what a ball from Anderson, I was thinking that's a goal. And you know how you feel it sometimes. And I'm watching the one you peel away at the far post and thinking, that's not a difficult ball. That's not a difficult ball. Right, who's marking him then? Chalobah looks at him. Oh, is he going to be offside here? He might be offside, you know, He's going to be close to that, you know. He's looking down the line. But... I don't know. He might just be on there. If you look at the way the line's cut, the ball might just be slanted across him. It's tremendously poor defending from Chalobah. I don't know where Caldwell is in that. Nowhere.
So Elliot Anderson played the ball down the right hand side, and Caldwell lunged across to try and intercept it and block the pass. He didn't make it in time, and the pass reached through it into the gap that he left.
Yeah, and then everything after that is carnage, isn't it? Awoniyi looks like he maybe just kept on here. It's going to be tight. It would make a great goal. Just 3 passes, and the referee said it's going to stand. Awoniyi just onside, but what a great goal! Anderson's pass was just inch perfect, you know. And then Gibbs White's pass is just inch perfect, and just at the right time. And then me and you could score that goal. It's a side-foot tapping.
Yeah, I think once again Trevor Chalobah's not really learning throughout this game. He's been woeful as well because he's just not staying with his man. Taiwo Awoniyi's making the same movements all game, and Trevor Chalobah's just not adapting. It's almost like he thinks he's good enough to just stop it at his own cost in a sense of wherever he thinks he is best to stand, and it's not working. And Gibbs White making that instant impact off the bench, and we are back underway. It's Nottingham Forest 3 away from home to Chelsea. That's a poor ball though, intercepted by Enzo Fernandez, who finds Cole Palmer. They'll probably need an instant response, Chelsea, if they want any chance of getting something from this game. I'm surprised Stamford Bridge isn't flooding, only flooding out of the fans, only 54 minutes in. As we now see Colwell, he's going to potentially look central for Liam Delap, but it's just a little bit overhit, and it goes all the way through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 off to B&Q while it's still open. Yeah, it's not been a good performance. And Nottingham Forest are doing a great job here of giving themselves a bit of breathing space. You look at the table now and you're beginning to think that it might just be a 2-horse race, that final relegation spot. And that's what this great form of Forest and this improvement from Vitor Pereira is doing. They don't look like relegation fodder today, did they? They're absolutely on it. And here they are again at the edge of the box. Yates there, uncompromising. But referee spotted just a little niggly foul from him. And Chelsea try to play it from the back. It's not working well for them today.
No, it isn't. Even there, it just looked a little bit risky, didn't it? I was slightly worried that Trevor Chalobah was going to leave the pass for his goalkeeper, but Sanchez was too busy, stood almost on his left post. If Chalobah did leave that trying to be clever, it'd have just trickled in their own net, and that would have summed it up for Chelsea in this one, but they still have possession. But like we said, the energy of Gibbs White and Anderson, they can all just keep pressing, even at 3-0, because they've got the energy and legs. That's a terrible touch from Enzo Fernandez. He didn't want to go into the challenge either, did he? But he breaks away a little bit of a lucky ricochet.
Not half. And it's like the other thing. Don't sell me short when Ryan Yates is looming up, right in front of you. It's like, do I really need to go in for a 60-40 with this guy? No, thank you. What happens when you're half-cocked is you get well beaten, you get injured anyway. If you don't go out full bore, I always think you end up and somehow things can go worse. But there's only a couple have lived up to that today. And typical that, they're like beaten by bigger man Belenkovic there and then shoves him in the back. It wasn't a great ball, but it's just so typical from him, niggly stuff really. But I said they needed a third goal, needed to keep attacking, and boy, did they do that. Pereira's a genius, isn't he? He could have sent him out there, pat him the back, well done lads. Instead, what does he do? He makes 3 changes, come on, let's get after them. And they go and grab a third goal. That's just inspired, I think.
Yeah, it is, and credit to them for it. And it wasn't just a lucky goal or breakthrough, was it? It was a fantastic goal from Nottingham Forest, probably my favourite one of the bunch so far. As you now see Chalobah goes across towards Levi Colwill, and at this stage for Chelsea, you're probably thinking, let's make as many subs as possible. But it's who do you turn to? There's no real attackers. Well, there is no attackers on the bench. You've got Reece James back fit in the squad, but is he going to influence this game that much? Probably not. It's not really the type of profile needed. And the only attacker on the bench they've already brought on in Liam Delap, and that's a terrible ball from Cucurella that, once again, every time Chelsea do something, I feel like saying that sums up Chelsea so far.
Right, they are going to make a change, and Andre Santos is coming on for Romeo Lavia, who, again, has just failed to impress, hasn't he? We know that he's got talent. He looks disappointed as he goes off, and he should be, because how many more chances are you going to get at Chelsea to show what you could do and fail? And after a while, it's like, okay, yeah, you were the next big thing, but it's like they've tried him to death now, and it's just not working. I don't know. You just shrug your shoulders at some point and say probably they need something else in there.
Yes, now see Yates plays it across to the right hand side. Milenkovic finds Morato, and then he goes all the way across towards Nets. Nets turns away, finds Morato again. He's going to look to get the better of Liam Delap. Still going. He plays it to the left hand side for McAtee. He's actually been quite quiet in this game as James McAtee. We've not really said his name too much in terms of his involvement in the attacks, but here's Gibbs White on the attack, and he breaks in behind. He goes towards Bakwa instead. Bakwa up against Cucurella. He cuts inside. He's still going. Lays it off for McAtee. As I just said, he's been quiet. He takes a poor touch. Then he goes for goal, and that's just cannoned off the chest of Chalobah. And Cole Palmer can bring it away. Nice touches from him, and that's much better. But João Pedro once again takes too long in possession. He just had to zip it out. Here come Chelsea on the counter-attack. It's Malo Augusto. There's a lot of space ahead if he can use it. There's space on the left. He goes to the right for João Pedro, who keeps it alive. He finds Palmer. A lot of players lurking at the back post. He finds that pass towards the back post. It's a good header away. It's great defending, actually, from Nico Williams. And then Enzo Fernandez steps in. He actually wins the throw-in as well.
Well, skills there, Kieran. You very nearly talked James McAtee into a goal, didn't you? But I was just watching him there walking into the box. I just thought, great opportunity in his first touch. I think maybe the ball to him wasn't quite what he wanted, but again, close to getting 4, and then a good counter-attack. But again, Chelsea have given the ball away, and for Forest, just seems too easy. I think they've got another goal in them. Maybe at 3, they've just decided that they will, stick, if you like. But I don't know. I think if they wanted it today, they could be comprehensive here and get maybe 4 and 5.
Yeah, there's no reason why they couldn't in this when Chelsea are just that desperate to go and grab a goal that they're just going to leave so much space, and Nottingham Forest probably have the perfect counter-attacking side out there on the pitch at the moment. As we've just hit the hour mark, Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 3. No one would have seen that coming, especially after seeing the lineups. Elliot Anderson switches play, a heavy ball into Nico Williams, but he does well to control it. The Welshman plays it in behind. It's just a direct ball, and Gibbs White's going to get there. Sanchez gets there in the end. He's been clattered, and it's another nasty collision.
No.
And Sanchez and Gibbs White are down. The last thing they need is this again for another collision. Well, it's been a busy day for the physios, hasn't it? But Rob Sanchez, he was hesitant. He did get there first, though.
Well, again, for Anthony Taylor, decisions maybe to be made, but it's that thing when players have got their eye on the ball, they're coming in at different angles. They're committed, aren't they? And that's it. So they're running into each other at full pelt, and I'm not sure that Morgan Gibbs-White didn't come out second best. And then you're thinking everything had been going right for Vitor Pereira, and then he's made the gamble of bringing one of his most influential players on. It's paid off in a goal, and maybe that's going to help him get 3 points. But if he's not available midweek because now he's got a concussion, it's not the outcome that they were looking for. Dearie me. Pereira looks a bit sick, doesn't he, as he looks on, and Wood is getting himself ready. I wouldn't be bringing Wood on. I think if you're thinking he's going to start in midweek, which is pretty likely, why would you now risk him at 3-0? I'd be thinking maybe be a bit more, I don't know, careful.
Yeah, there's Lorenzo Luca on the bench as well, who's not really played that much recently, has he? An opportunity for to say, right, well, I've played a bit of a second string team and they've all proved something to me. There's only a few players left yet to prove something. He probably is one of them. Lorenzo Luca could have been a chance for him. I wonder if it will be for Gibbs White, or if the plan was always to just maybe take a 1 year off in this sense. But both players are still down, which isn't a great look, as Vitor Pereira looking animated as ever.
Yeah, he fully in, isn't he? I always think with the good coaches, there's like a billion things going through their mind all at one time. But again, they brought Stretcher on for Morgan Gibbs-White, and again, there's so many around him. It's not good. Sanchez also still down. Also, seem to have a stretcher there for him. Or is he actually up now? He's up, isn't he, Sanchez? So they're treating him on his feet and putting a bandage on his head. So that tells you where the collision hit him. I was thinking it was more front facial for Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah. So I'd be worried about a nose or a cheekbone, that kind of thing. Particularly cheekbone can be or eye socket can be a really terrible injury. A broken nose is bad enough, and that's the first, your first point of call, isn't it? Really, when you're coming straight on, and I think the physio is telling Pereira that he's gone straight on. So it's the top of Sanchez's head, the middle of the head of Morgan Gibbs-White. So looks like Jorgensen is going to come on.
Yeah, Gibbs-White's been completely bandaged up in this sense. I mean, the last thing they would need, of course, it's all about the players' health, that's the main thing, but I mean, it's such a big game coming midweek. You think Gibbs White's probably the key player, isn't he, for that game? So they'll be praying that it's not a long-term injury.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, these guys can play in a mask now. They're braver than me. I won't be doing that if I got facial injury or whatever. And Sanchez then just putting a hand on the shoulder of Gibbs White. And then the other thing is they'd be worried that if he's got a concussion, you can't hide that, and he won't play next time. So they'd be desperate that weirdly that he wasn't knocked unconscious. But it looks like Sanchez has run his race and he's got to go. So, and maybe he didn't pass the concussion thing protocols.
Yeah, well, he doesn't seem too happy about it, but I mean, I'm not being funny, mate. You've conceded 3 goals anyway. It's not like they're going to miss that much. He's a strange goalkeeper, I think, Rob Sanchez. He's got so many mistakes in him. I would never be fully confident if I had Rob Sanchez.
No, they decided to stick with him in the summer, and I think that was trying to give him confidence, but also it was a bit like we could throw money at it, but we haven't got that much more money to throw. Morgan Gibbs-White's going off and he's going to get replaced. They'll be hopeful that there isn't a concussion thing there, and maybe it's just a precaution. But
that physio room's going to be busy, isn't it? At the end of this game, or even right now, he'll be going in and saying hello to a couple of other lads who've had to be taken in.
I tell you what, we do all sorts of sports here. I did Punchestown the other day, and there was carnage in a cross-country race, the first race of the festival on the Saturday, and they'd only got I think 2 ambulances. Then they both were sent off, so it delayed all the racing for the rest of the day because they need X amount. And you wonder here how many more medics are left in the building, because they've, I'm guessing that somebody's had to go to hospital with Derry and all that. Anyway, Philip Jorgensen comes on now.
Yeah, and he is onto the field of play. The Danish goalkeeper, he's had an up and down time at Chelsea as well. And when he's had his opportunities, made a couple of mistakes. I think I prefer Jorgensen to Rob Sanchez, though. I think he definitely looks more steady. I just think a little bit less comfortable with the ball at his feet, though, which is always a slight problem. But, well, especially with the modern day manager.
Well, Sanchez has given the ball away that many times.
Well, exactly,
at his feet. It would be a toss of a coin there. Maybe they'd be better off with the Jorgensen, who just lumps it if he gets worried about it, And then the other thing about that is that a lot of teams now are deciding to go long again, aren't they, and fight for second ball, which we saw from De Zerbi's Spurs yesterday.
Yeah, Liam Delap with a poor pass. He's been terrible since coming on. Really, really poor. Liam Delap, again, just can't get anything going. There's going to be a free kick, and Cucurella, he's really struggled. Another one, just like I was saying about Liam Delap, he's giving it away on Backward again, and Backward's been poor this season for Nottingham Forest, but you'd think he's on the form of his life with how easy this game's just been against Cucurella.
Yeah, and he's getting a bit of his own medicine there, Cucurella, because it wasn't much of a foul, was it? And he went down like a sack of spuds, claiming he'd been elbowed. He'd not. But that's out the Cucurella playbook, isn't it? All that kind of nonsense. Forrest back on the ball, though.
Here's Yanasi Yates, turns away from his man, plays it back for Elliot Anderson, who finds Yates again, and someone's just clattered Elliot Anderson from behind. This time it's Caicedo, who can't believe the decision from Anthony Taylor again, and we're just starting to see the frustrated tackles coming out.
Now, Forest have got to be careful as well, because they've got players out there who don't want to get injured. It's a bit of a flip from the first half, isn't it, where we said Sod's Law, Forest were out there, players busting the gut because they wanted to get in the midweek team. Now they've brought players in who know they're going to start in midweek, who don't want to get injured. Weirdly, it worked out for that third goal, but then they've lost out with Gibbs-White. If they grab a fourth goal here, they won't worry too much.
Yeah, Anderson whips it in well, headed away by Chalobah. As we now see Nets under a bit of pressure from Delap, plays it to the right-hand side, ball in behind, looking for Nico, and it's just a little bit overhit. And Jorgensen takes it into his hands. He dished it out pretty quickly for Chalobah, who finds Enzo Fernandez, touches it out and takes it into his stride. Santos across to Caicedo, who brings it across for Levi Colwill. Back to the left-hand side for Caicedo. Finds Andre Santos, who we've not seen too much of since he came on to the field of play. Cole Palmer tries to stab a ball through the middle. He gets a free kick there. Maybe took a little bit too long. He's definitely more central, isn't he, this second half, Cole Palmer? Yeah,
absolutely. But nothing that they're doing is adding up to too much, really. So Santos comes on for Lavia. I don't really rate Santos either. Maybe in the long run that'll work out better. Of course, they're missing Estival, who's had some standout performances, but also at times been terrible, I thought, and just a young kid caught in the lights. Do you know what I mean? This is such a high standard. And then, of course, Garnacho and Neto both missing as well. Neto, I think he's super solid. Garnacho not. But so they're missing a few, aren't they? But you can see that it's a project and it's nowhere near finished.
Yeah, Liam Delap goes down under the challenge. He's way too weak in that one with Milenkovic. Pedro maybe could have held on to it a little bit longer rather than going for the back heel straight away towards him, trying clever stuff. Not really at that stage of the game, are they, Chelsea? To be trying the clever flick-ons, as we see Colwill across to Caicedo. First time ball into Santos. It's a little bit slow, but it's better. And now there's Pedro in a lot of space. Plays it to the left-hand side for Cucurella. Almost a little bit too heavy. Cucurella lays it off for Santos. Opens it up, goes for goal. It's blocked away in the end. Anderson battling with Cucurella. That's a great challenge. I thought he kicked out there, though. Cucurella, nothing given. Then he steps in again, and then he's giving afters to Bakwa. And he loves it, doesn't he? Cucurella's on the left-hand side. He's got a few players in the box to aim for. It's well blocked by Anderson. Palmer then steps in, and Forest clear their lines, and it's backward going down the right hand side. Don't foul it, and he has fouled him. I mean, that's worthy of just getting subbed off from João Pedro. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
It's a striker's challenge. Before that, Couture was certain he was going to get booked, and he always like squaring up to the referee. And the referee didn't book him, and he's like, well, all right then. He carried on, didn't he? Yeah, funny. And Bakwa's good game continues. Yeah, he did the right thing. He knew he just got ahead of his man. It's almost like catch me if you can, and I know you're going to foul me, and he did. But it doesn't really help Chelsea, who look a bit like a team who've thrown 3 points today. But anyway, that's the way it is. Who could have imagined that Forest would be having an easy victory today? I mean, I would have emptied my bank onto Chelsea winning at short odds today. I really would. I'm not baffled by having seen how it's worked out. I think, oh yeah, that it sort of makes sense. But when we looked at the two teams at the start, it was like they've got no chance, you know. Yeah,
exactly that. And with that, 72 minutes on the clock, we've reached the halfway stage of the second half. Probably got a little bit of added time to come later on as well. Hence why I held on to it for an extra 4 minutes, because John to the left of me unfortunately got about 40 minutes worth of football in the first half, and we might end up getting about 8 or 9 minutes added on. You never know later on in this one.
Listen, this is nothing. As the ball comes across, Couture into the box, maybe a chance for him, couldn't get it out of his feet. The ball stabbed goalwards, and then it's nodded in from close range. João Pedro has got another one. He looks across, see if the flag had gone up. It hasn't, and that goal will stand. Somehow, then they've got a goal back into it.
Great timing.
Yeah, well, that's
just passed over to you. See, John, you're making things happen in this game. Well, Liam Delap, it was a miss kick from him. Cucurella played it across the first goal. Well,
is he offside?
He's going to be offside, isn't he, João Pedro? I don't think this is going to stand on the first live viewing, unless Nico Williams plays him on. Maybe he does. Looking at that, it's so hard.
He's just off. I think he's just off. The line of cut grass is the line of the box, and for me, he's then just stood a couple of inches off. His first effort that was saved, his second effort, it's fine, but by then the damage is done. So I'm pretty certain this will be called. I make things happen, yeah. Offside goal, ruled out by VAR. But I was going to go on to say that this is just the hors d'oeuvre before the main course. If you think there's a lot of faffing about this, that and the other with this game, just wait until we're doing Hearts Rangers. I can almost guarantee some tomfoolery there. This is taking way too long, isn't it, for VAR to sort out? I guess that they need to load up the machine. Hello, is it, isn't it? Give it, don't give it. What is it? Anyway, João Pedro eventually gives a thumbs up. He must have been told. And yeah, then a sense of disappointment. Yeah, the back forward stepped out. Nico Williams was sort of back in the pocket trying to defend Cucurella. And he rules the goal like Anthony Taylor. He's just unlucky there, João Pedro. And before that, we saw Delap with the air shot. That was quite laughable that the goal chance came because of his swish. So anyway, a great big foot hanging over the edge of the line from João Pedro, as we've just seen. As a 1-0 beaten to it by Chalobah, quite clever from him to win that. Then Santos into midfield, it's not a good ball, picks up Yates, who happy to go all the way back to Milenkovic, and then he goes across field. Little touch across then from Nets. Forgot he was there, but he'd had a good steady first half, but a definite foul. Nets goes to the back of Andre Santos in the midfield. Caicedo takes it quickly. They thought they were back in it, and even at 3-1 it'd be hard to make a case for Chelsea today, but I suppose you know, you're never write off a team that's got the talent of Cole Palmer. It's a good pass from him, and again Fernandes. He and Palmer have been at it pretty much all through the game. So I say that Palmer loses the ball, but some of the other teammates have just think been very miserly with the efforts that they've put in today, not wanting to get injured or to expend too much energy ahead of a cup final, and it's meant that they've been really lethargic. When you're on the ball and there's just that lack of movement in front of you, players are not putting it in, you just know it, don't you? And then if that transmits to the team as a whole, it's like, well, nobody's really at it. Fernandes, and aside to that, he and Palmer, and for Enzo Fernandes, well, he's got the captain's armband on, he's expected to do more. And Palmer might be their most talented player, as Kucera has done all right going forward, but this time the ball breaks to McAtee, and he's trying to find a good forward pass. Jorgensen comes out, just about first touch for him. There's no way back, is there, here, Kieran, for Chelsea?
No, it doesn't seem so. João Pedro is entering the penalty area, and that's a great run, but once again he holds on to the ball for too long. I mean, watching Chelsea, so frustrating today. Why do they all take a million touches, as the Chelsea fans are all starting to leave now? They've seen enough, but yeah, if that goal stood from João Pedro, maybe they got another before the 85th. You could maybe see something, quite a miracle comeback, but yeah, it's going to take something special.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they know on a bank holiday that you're going to have to get your shopping done at Tesco Express rather than the big Tesco. It's not easy, but the crowd in vast swathes of them were on the way out of Stamford Bridge there, and the Forest fans are loving it. Here they go again, but that's got to be a yellow card for Caicedo. McAtee, lovely little spin and turn, and then Delap's giving Anthony Taylor what for his decision. No. Anyway, it is free kick, and for me, Chelsea have been really sloppy today. They've given away loads of fouls. There could have been loads of yellow cards from a different referee who was on it. Anthony Taylor, for some reason, didn't want to, give yellow cards for them being sloppy and not wanting to play properly. And Delap he got himself a card there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just for gross stupidity.
Well, that's the type of player that Liam Delap is. I think sometimes, when I mentioned the fact that he just fouls people all game, every game, Matt Sills has now gone down with a bit of a knock. I mean, this is just injury central, this game.
Well, is he really injured, or are we just having a tactical timeout? I never know nowadays. Let me know when you can work that one out.
Well, you know what? I don't mind seeing it, because Chelsea did the exact same thing last week, so get played at your own game.
Yeah, and that just heralds the departure of more fans with their blue and white scarves. Just chipping off today. Been there, seen it, done it. Not their day to day, and you do get that in the Premier League anyway. You know, sometimes you've met your match tactically. The shape you're in is not it. Your players are, you can want everything you want from them, and they cross the white line and just don't give it. And this Chelsea team are just an unbankable team, aren't they? Where are the leaders, and where's the spirit out of what we're seeing today?
Yeah, we've not seen anything, have we? Like I said, I've not minded Enzo Fernandez' performance at all. I think he's had a bit of urgency. I think he's looked pretty good. I think the rest of them are so poor. for Chelsea in this one. They just hold on to the ball for too long in attack, which is why Nottingham Forest are always getting a foot in or getting the interception. I just think Chelsea have maybe played into their hands a bit.
Yeah. Plus that the thing, they just bristle with positivity right from the get-go. You know, they're going to bring on Hutchinson now, which I think, again, for me, is a slight mistake. I think he starts him. He's been playing great, you know, and maybe it's just, you know, minding minutes for players and all that. Anyway, so they're making a change, and it might be so that Dylan Backward gets a good hand from the Forest fans on his way out, or maybe he just feels he's gone off it a little bit. But this kid's been on it for the last month or so. Hutchinson, who prior to the last month or so, I didn't really rate. I'd seen him play under 21s. Obviously, he's a World Cup winner. I'd seen him at was it Ipswich, where I didn't think he did a lot, and I was left scratching my head a little bit about what he's bringing to the party. And then looks like the penny had dropped. He's full of end product, and also he looks two-footed. He looks like he's got something now.
Yeah, he's a good player. Came through the youth ranks at Chelsea as well, but. Yeah, he's a very good player. He's got a lot about him. Sometimes as a youngster, you just need that faith, don't you? You need a good man manager, which is what Vitor Pereira is, which is why that appointment was so crucial for players to believe.
Here he is, some first touch then, and he's going to be taking on Kucharaya. Takes him into the box. Kucharaya, that's great defending. He just gets back across him, and he's strong there. And I thought it was a bit sort of rusty, that move, but anyway. You know, he's very bold. And the other thing about him, Hutchinson, is he's not frightened to take players on now. When I watched him, say 6 or 8 months ago, he kept just passing the ball back, passing it inside, passing the buck. But now he takes responsibility on. I can beat him. I can beat that man. You know, it's like he's gained confidence, and also he's got the skill to do it, and he can go either way. So, yeah, watching him is a bit of a treat. As it stands, Chelsea are in 9th position in the table. You know, it's going to be a phenomenal amount of points there, I think, that might keep the team up this season. West Ham, their defeat yesterday was such a blow to them the other day. Anyway, for Forest, they're doing themselves all sorts of favours today. Kucharaya breaks to the touchline. Can he get a decent ball in? It's all right. Yates, a good steady job today. He's just minding the shop, isn't he, and working hard. Fernandez now looking for a give and go at the edge of the box with Caicedo. Kucharaya, funny how he shows up, but now the harder it gets, almost the more he gets into it. But that's a lovely ball from Awoniyi, and then now Wood is barrelling away. He's got a runner with him. So anyway, cross comes in, ball fly hacked away, and they'll get going well. And it wasn't the best cross from McAtee, but there weren't many options at that point. I thought he just might have turned out and wasted some clock, you know. Yeah,
that's what it looked like he was going to do. If his plan was to cross the ball, then he should have just kept darting forwards and going a little bit inwards with it. But yeah, a missed opportunity for 4, but here comes Chelsea.
Yeah, they do, but they're going to have to score right now, aren't they? I mean, there's going to be loads of added time. We might be looking at 10 minutes. You know, there was a long break. The irony of the first half is that they put 5 minutes on the board, but I think we're owed 5 minutes by somebody somewhere. I don't know how it works, time accountancy, but I feel we've been mugged. Anyway, Santos on the ball to Malo Gusto. Steps out, stands the ball to the far post. Not a bad ball. Kucharaya flies at that, but he can't get it. João Pedro will. He absolutely silky skills. I think that phrase is meant for him. But he recycles the ball well enough. Ball to Caicedo at the edge of the box, and then Cole Palmer out with his feet. But not Chelsea's day today. Ball looking for Delap. Good control. Left foot to Dab. But I think that deflected away. That'll be a corner kick.
Yeah, corner coming up. A little bit better. That one from Liam Delap. It was a nice first touch. Sharp turn as well, but it was well blocked and goes out for a corner. Just got to go for goal a little bit more, haven't they? Cole Palmer, he's going to do that. It's a good save from Matt Sells. He pushes it away. Colwell's going to keep it alive, but that's a bit better.
Yeah, nearly nicked a goal off me there, didn't you? But anyway, Gusto now just put the ball in too deep. Not good enough. 85 minutes on the clock, more or less, as we look at Palmer's shot again. Just using players for disguise. Keeper saw it late, but the ball swinging back into Matt Sells. He was able to get that one away easily enough. So yeah, you look at over at the far side now, and it's a sea of empty seats really. The stand half full or half empty, I don't know, but the locals are not impressed. But you know what? They will not care less if they go and win an FA Cup final. And there's only 2 teams who can do that, and they're one of them. So, you know, they might reserve their best performance of the season for that. They won the FIFA Club World Cup, of course.
See, I think João Pedro, just there in the corner, I think it's just proved my whole point of why I don't think he's just a number 9 striker. He started to drift since Liam Delap came on, hasn't he? Mainly this second half. And I think he's been really good. Where we've seen him just drop a little bit left, he's been a little bit more of a workhorse. He's been creative. He just got a nice nutmeg on Elliot Anderson. So I think he's limited if you just leave him in the penalty area, hoping that chances fall to him.
Yeah, well, ball whipped in. Did a little flick on at the near post. Did it come off Cucurella or Pedro? I think it did. See, I like him playing number 9, but I think that's in a better team, in a team where maybe you know, you've got Cole Palmer in behind him, in a team where you've got Enzo Fernandez playing ghost striker, because you've got your Netos and players like that who are all energy. Yeah. Maybe because I don't really trust Delap that much, but I know what he's got. He's not as good as Jackson either, in my opinion, and he wasn't.
I agree. I feel like I've always said this, especially within our office. I've always actually been a big fan of Nicholas Jackson. Not that many people are, for some reason, but I've always thought he's a really, really good striker. I think there'd be some Premier League teams so silly not to try and just throw everything they've got to try and get Nicholas Jackson next season. I really do.
I think he's a bit like JP Mateta, where because he misses a few, it's like, oh, he's not that good. But he creates chances that he's missing in a way, because, I mean, for Jackson, he was brilliant in the air, wasn't he? And so if you realise you get across into that fella, he's a great chance of nodding it in. Then, you know, it's like you play to his strengths, like Forrest played to Chris Wood's strengths last season. Anyway, Cole Palmer on the ball now, little run around from him. Can he get his shot away? He's thinking about it. Now right foot strike, it's blocked. He's wriggling and twisting and turning, trying to get something going. Fair play to that, and he's won a corner. Well, camera's lingering on the biggest load of empty seats now. A bit naughty that. But anyway, Chelsea keep on going with Caicedo at the edge of the box. Fernandez has kept on going today. Palmer keeps on going. And weirdly, Cucurella's had a funny old game where he hasn't looked good, but again he's kept going. Well, that was a good block by I think the private parts of Chris Wood there. Shot straight at him. And now Awonyi, a little cut inside, and a ball into midfield. McAtee, not a bad ball at all. And now Nico Williams, who has got pace to burn and an appetite to get forward, finds Hutchinson, who in turn finds Nico Williams, who stumbled with his touch there. Hutchinson, and now it's up to Forest to work their way forwards and then work their way backwards, isn't it? They can do that when you're 3 goals to the good. Backwards is as good as forwards, and sidewards, and all the way back to the keeper. And Chelsea had to work hard to work back there. If you're Chelsea, you probably just throw this game away, don't you? I wouldn't even bother watching the video of it, because you're not going to learn anything, are you?
No, you're not. I mean, it's a really bad day at the office for Chelsea. Some poor moments. They've improved at times in this second half, but it's too little too late, really. As we see Enzo Fernandez on the attack. Yep,
ball chipped into the box, but Delap had got his back to it, and it was nowhere near him, really. So... yeah, one of those things, you've got to take it on the chin, but the interim manager is probably thinking this isn't kind of the thing that's going to help me get a job, but sometimes things transpire that way. he could win an FA Cup and still not get the job. They're a funny club like that. You know, Maresca wins the FIFA Club World Championship. What's that worth? Nothing, next to nothing. But you know, at that time, and you know, I remember watching the final, thinking they were massively impressive that day, and you know, it's something for the fans. But for these Chelsea fans who have been brought up with, you know, winning trophies, it's no big deal that. They want to win a Premier League. They want to win a Champions League. They don't want to be bit part players, mid-table performers in the Premier League. Anyway, here they are. They put a lot of eggs in the basket of a young team, but I'm not sure that's necessarily working out. When, particularly at centre back, you want more experienced players to show you the way there. Probably 28-year-old, never mind 22-year-old. 9 minutes has been put on the board, which would be plenty enough time, wouldn't it? But there's 3-0 down and still not enough time probably to grab 3 goals. Yeah,
probably not. And we expected around 8 or 9 minutes, didn't we, with the stoppages in this second half as well. A little bit of a lucky nutmeg from Caicedo. Forced Renzo Fernandes, he hits one from distance and he puts it miles over the bar.
Yeah, he's probably lost about 50 or 100 fans with that shot. Just... yeah, just not going to go in for them. Well, they've had 1 goal, haven't they? But it was on offside. Sometimes you need that little bit of luck as well. Early doors, a shot from Enzo Fernandez had hit the post, hadn't it? And if that goes in, maybe it's a different game. Maybe they can get Forest on the back foot. But Forest deserve nothing other than 3 points today. They'd gone out to Stamford Bridge, which is probably not a happy hunting ground for them, because it won't be a happy hunting ground for most teams. And being absolutely ruthlessly positive, and I know that they've played 4-4-2 recently, but like, I'm thinking you're playing that with your second string away from home. Are you having a laugh? One thing about 4-4-2, it's like super solid, isn't it? Everybody knows what they're doing. You're not making an inherent weakness. Yeah. You're strong in the flanks. You can be strong through the middle, and if you've got 2 up top, you've got a balance, haven't you? So maybe that's the future. I'm Kieran in a second, because here come Chelsea forward with Gusto. He's gone and then he's stopped. Ball back in his inside. Cole Palmer again, going for a strike, never on. So. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, he didn't used to play 4-4-2 with Wolves, did he?
No, not really. It was more a 3 at the back as the ball falls to João Pedro. What a goal he's just scored. Wow, it's a chest-up overhead kick. And I tell you what, it's a shame that's a consolation goal, because that's the pick of the bunch. It really is. What a goal. João Pedro has just scored. Well, what do I think of the 4-4-2? It's rubbish. Scrap it up. Rubbish tactics from Vitor Pereira. No. Great goal, but yeah, it's been perfect for Forest. Well, not perfect anymore, but away at Stamford Bridge, it's been pretty spot on. I can't get it over the control and technique of this. I mean, we saw an overhead kick goal recently. It was James Justin at Ellen Road. We don't see them too often. I mean, that is seriously high quality.
It's at the top drawer, that. I think Cucurella has shown up well in this second half as well. He's shown a bit of passion and pride.
I think João Pedro there has maybe backed up both of our points. He's backed up my point of not just your number 9, because he's got a little bit more in terms of the skill, and then he's got the number 9's finish. Perfect. Well,
I mean, you know, honestly, any striker would be proud of that finish. It's a contender goal of the month, isn't it? It was the volley from Mitoma, wasn't it? Last month, should I say? And rightly so. It was a cracking good goal, that. But yeah, that'll be that'll be in and amongst it. He didn't over celebrate it, did he? He gets it. I said they couldn't score 3 goals in 9 minutes, but they've got 1 in 3, so maybe they can. Anyway, Chelsea 1, Forest 3. And Kieran nicking a bicycle kick-off with a scandalous what you've just done. Anyway, Gusto's on the ball. And then Caicedo. And now with Colwell. Good to see him back. Santos lays it back. Chalobah forward now. Not a good ball from him. And then Yates just prods it too far. Doesn't really give Awoniyi a chance. Chalobah back on the ball to Santos, and then Colwell, and here they go again with João Pedro. Finds Kuchera at the corner flag, held up by Hutchison, and then back to João Pedro with Fernandes, and then João Pedro thinking about a cross, thinks again, just drops the shoulder. He's at the edge of the box, held up by Yates. Great ball into box from him. Liam Delap spins away, but he can't make anything of it, and then the ball comes in, and McAtee is able to toe poke that one away as we hit 95 minutes. Well, our next port of call, me and Kieran, there'll be Tynecastle for Hearts against Rangers, which is coming hot on the heels of this, which should be a cracking good game as well. There's loads at stake in that. If you looked at the top of the Scottish Prem, then you'd understand. But anyway, Enzo Fernandez, and now ball comes in. It's a header from Chalobah, leaning back. We all know what happens to that. He's not had a good game, has he, Trevor Chalobah, really?
No, he's been rubbish at the back. He really has. I mean, he's weird, he's Chalobah, because sometimes I think he's a really clever centre-half, and then sometimes I think he plays like he's 5 years younger than what he actually is, in terms of just not really that switch on where he's meant to be in terms of his marking, and he's really struggled to deal with the movement of Taiwo Awoniyi today, but I think the movement's been pretty straightforward at times, so I'm not sure how he struggled so much, but here comes Chelsea.
Cole Palmer picks a pocket there, and then he puts the ball in. Morato is blocked away, and then he's furious with his teammates for some reason, I don't know. Was it a foul, or did Cole Palmer really do well just to nick the ball of McAtee? McAtee's gone down, by the way, and tugging his foot like he's cramped up there. Anyway, he gets back up, but he's moving very gingerly, is James McAtee. And well, the referee's saying he's sending McAtee to the sideline. He didn't get any treatment, did he? I don't know. Don't really understand what's going on there, but everybody's angry with him for some reason. It's a corner kick though, and it looks like they'll take it without McAtee on the field. It looked like he got treatment, but anyway, Enzo Fernandez puts the ball in. Up go the heads. Defensive header away, and Chelsea recycle the ball. But time is really running out now. 2 minutes then to get 2 goals, just for a point. Ball in from Enzo Fernandez. Breaks